Welcome back to the Big Game Podcast. I am Chris Hunter. I got my man Daniel Horton with me, man. It was another big game last night, man, against Michigan and Purdue. And all I can say about this game is, whoo, that escalated quickly. All right, Michigan gets blown out by Purdue last night. So we're going to have our thoughts and our discussions right now, analyze this game, and our reaction video to that game, man. How you doing today, man? You doing good?
Yeah, man, doing good early this Saturday morning, man. Always good time to talk basketball, especially Michigan basketball. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a good time to talk basketball. Good time to discuss what the heck happened last night in this game, man. We had a good preview show where we kind of talked about all of the things that make Purdue special team and the things you had to do to kind of stop them or slow them down to be able to beat them. Mm-hmm. And Michigan weren't able to do any of those things last night. And like I said, that game escalated very, very quickly and was over probably before that third TV timeout in the first half. So, I mean, let's get into it, man. What were your thoughts on just how this game played out early?
Yeah, no, like you said, just anytime, no matter what Purdue is ranked, when you go in the Mackey Arena, it's going to be it's Indiana. It's the state of Indiana. It's basketball in the state of Indiana, right?
Hoosier basketball, not the Indiana Hoosiers, but basketball is life in Indiana.
Yeah, man. It's Friday night in West Lafayette, Indiana. Like, what else are they doing, right? They're going to be in Mackey Arena if there's a game. So, like, just going into the environment, with the program, the success they had and where it's at right now, you're going to get there's a baseline of effort and intensity and execution that you have to have going into these environments. And I think we lost a little bit of that. We've had that for the most part. We had, great effort at Wisconsin, had great effort at Minnesota, got beat at the buzzer. But last night, I think we lacked in a little bit of effort, toughness, intensity. And then you can't help them either, right? Like, you can't go in there and turn the ball over 22 times against a really good team and think you're going to have a chance to win. And it's something that we've talked about all year, right? Turnovers are going to eventually be your Achilles heel, especially in this conference where you're playing against a Matt Painter coach team. You're playing against the Iowas and the Illinois. These teams, they don't turn the ball over very much, right? So you have to play you have to put a high IQ game. You have to value every possession. You have to execute, right? And then you have to defend. And I think those are all things that, we fell short of, and we'll get to in the video.
Yeah, they definitely fell short of that. And like you said, Mackey Arena, coming into it, one of the best venues in college basketball. I mean, when you go in there, even for shoot around, and they got that special dome in it, you bounce the ball and they got that crazy little echo where it like chirps and tweets, so it gets loud in there. They got some of the best fans in the country. Those guys are coordinated, they're loud, and you knew coming off a loss to Ohio State the game previous that it was going to be tough to beat those guys at home 2 games in a row. And they came out chomping at the bit. And like you said, we didn't meet that intensity early, got shell shocked, crowd got into it. And like my man said, and anchorman Ron Burgundy, that escalated quickly. All right? It got out of hand real quick. And that game was over, like I said, before the third timeout, the third TV timeout in the first half. So, I mean, let's get into this film, man. It's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to break down. But like you said, 22 turnovers in the first half, going 1 for 16 for 3. Yeah. That's a recipe for disaster in that, man. So let's get this film up. Let's break this down so we can show the folks what the heck happened during this game and how we can improve and get better.
Yeah, no, and it starts from the tip, right? Like you said, you go into arenas like this, environments like this, it's imperative that you get off to a great start, right? And from the first possession, man, we gave away gifts, right? Tip, we win the tip, right? You want to get to a great start on the road. Part of that is winning the tip, right?
Yeah.
People, I know, average fans don't really understand that or pay attention to that, but I know most coaches value winning the opening possession, right? We win the tip on the road. Good job by Vlad tipping it to a teammate, get the ball out point guard to get into our set. Little Iverson action right there by Namari. Boom. I know average fan looks at that like, oh, that's a lazy pass by a point guard. No. Roddy Gill, you have to meet the pass. We teach this in junior high, right? Hey, you have to Trey makes a strong chest pass to a guy that has leverage on a defender. Keep running. Meet the pass.
You got to meet the pass. You know, sometimes like you look at this play, he wants to catch it in that scoring area. But in this particular instance, you got to give up your position for possession. And like you said, run through that pass and make sure you secure it. And you can't give up the first possession of a game, a pick six for a layup. And that just sets the tone. That gets the crowd into it. And that's a recipe for a disaster on the first play. Now, can you bounce back from one of those? Possibly, yes. But that's not the way you want to set the tone starting this game out.
No, definitely not. That's the exact opposite of how you want to start the game. So, you know, this is, you know, these are consecutive plays, right? As we roll through these, right? This is the next possession.
Yes.
Right? We get the ball across, get into our offense. Like, come on, man.
just lackadaisical with the ball. Just like is no how as a elite, you know, D1 program with a point guard that you just get the ball taken out of your hands in the middle of the floor. Like it just sets the tone to say these guys were not ready right now for the intensity of this game. And it showed, like you said, consecutive possessions to start the game out, 2 turnovers.
Like, be strong with the ball right here. If you're going to hold it, be strong with it. If you're not, get rid of it or escape dribble, or because you feel like IQ and feel for the game, right? He's inching closer and closer to you. He's not doing that for you know.
Yeah, he's not doing that to smell your breath or to hold your hand or give you a hug. No, he's coming trying to take the ball from you.
Yeah, like either blow by him or you have this whole right side of space. I know Roddy's probably gonna get here to get the 2-sided shooter. But at the same time, man, you gotta beat him off the dribble. You gotta escape dribble, relieve pressure some kind of way, right? You cannot let this guy just inch into his pressure and then give the ball away. Now, I don't want to be disrespectful to the kid because this hasn't happened. This isn't a recurring thing. But like we're talking about, it's 8-2, still early in the game. It's the first we haven't got to the first TV timeout yet, right? That can't happen. And I gotta give dude credit. He's a good he defended well last night, right?
And this is what Purdue does, right? If this is the MO of a Matt Painter coach team, they're going to pressure that point guard up the floor, full court, and they're going to make it hard for you to get in and make you feel uncomfortable getting into your set. So you got to be prepared for this. You got to be ready for this. And this is just like you said, a play that can't happen. You can't get your pocket picked full court for another pick six before the first TV timeout in a game. That's a recipe for disaster.
I don't remember this happening to him at all this season. I'm willing to bet it might not happen again this year. But at the same time, in this situation on the road, it can't happen.
It can't happen.
All right. They score, quick outlet. We get the ball up. Hey, how much time has come off the shot clock? 2 seconds, right?
2 seconds, and this is the very next play after he just got his pocket picked for a layup. So this is 8 seconds after that. Here we go again with another turnover with Danny Wolf.
And ideally, that's great pace, right? That's how you create more possessions. That's how you speed the game up. That's how you challenge people offensively. Outlet the ball, 1-2, we up the floor in 3 seconds left. What is a 30-second shot clock, right?
Yeah.
30-second shot clock is 27 left. We're already into a 4-5 pick and roll. Ideally, that's great offense already.
It's great offense. You're trying to get a quality shot before the defense has a chance to get set. So usually, like you said, those first 6 to 8 seconds of a shot clock is when you can get really, really quality shots. And that's been Michigan MO all year, is trying to get early quality looks early in the shot clock.
You're never going to be more open than you are in the first 6 to 8 seconds of the shot clock, right? And you get into a chance to create a big advantage right here. We talked about it a couple games ago. I can't remember which film we did, but I talked about passing out of motion. I don't care if you're 7 feet tall or you're 5 feet tall. Anytime you pass out of motion, you're putting yourself in danger. So he's really good at making hook passes, right? So you don't want to limit his game or take something away from him, but you're jumping and making the hook pass at the same time right here. turnover, and Purdue can feel it, right? Like we've done this to people as players. You frustrated guys. Watch this guy after he gets the steal. Watch what he does. You see that?
Mm-hmm. No, you smelling blood now. It's like, okay, we got him. The crowd is into it. We got him. Look at the bench over there. Everybody's still standing up. They haven't sat down yet from the first possession. Like they smelling blood right now. So these 4 turnovers before you get to the first TV timeout is unacceptable, especially these live ball turnovers in a raucous environment like this. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yes, sir. All right. And we added this clip to it. The game is already out of hand. Game is pretty much over, but this is kind of a microcosm of where we get in trouble sometimes. Not just Danny, but other guys on the team, right? Now, as a coach myself, when I'm coaching my point guards and coaching point guards, if my guard caught the ball and just went between his legs twice, hip swivel, right? For no reason, hip swivel again, not really use the screen, one-handed cross-court pass turn, he's coming to sit down.
Yeah, no, you got to come sit down next to me because we're not ready to play. Those are not winning plays, right? The end result is not what you want.
No, and it starts. The end result starts from here, right? Like all of the extra stuff, you're on the road, man. Be solid with the ball.
Yeah,
use the screen, get into your fourth. Like you do all that, and then eventually there's no screen. Like there's no ball pressure, so there's no need for you to bing bing. Wait for the screen. Let him come.
Wait for the screen. Let the action work for you. Yeah. Like you said, the ball screen right now didn't create any advantage.
Just
you got Braden Smith waiting in the weeds, and he looked like Troy Polamalu or something in the backfield, getting that deflection on the ball. And these guys were like hungry; they were after it, and we weren't able to meet that intensity in this game.
Right. So that's just the game was already out of hand here, but just a small microcosm, right? And so this is the same thing here, right? Just for the fans out there, everybody knows how Purdue plays, right? And this is when the game is already basically over. Look at the defensive pressure, right? And it's going to get into something that we talked about last time. One of the things that how they were going to guard Vlad, and I'll let you get into that as far as the base doubling that they did, or the post doubling against Vlad. So I'll let you take the lead from here.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep rolling the clip. And it's like you say, the ball pressure took them out of their rhythm of their offense. So now they're kind of playing in the flow and out of sorts and out of rhythm. Vlad catches the ball at the 3-point line, typically in an area that he doesn't catch it in, right? So they're still playing out the flow. This is not their normal action. And now he's trying to bag him in from exactly where you want it from a defensive perspective, where you want him working from is from the 3-point line in, trying to bag somebody in. And this is a different thing. Like we watched in clips earlier in the year with UCLA who didn't post double, other teams who didn't post double. Purdue.
No, hold on. I'm sorry to cut you off. UCLA didn't do anything.
They didn't do anything.
Didn't do anything.
But now you have Purdue who's bringing the double team from the baseline side, right? So you see Caleb First coming over from the baseline side and putting pressure. That adds a different element as a big fella that you can't necessarily prepare for the way you want to if you haven't seen it all year. So now the only pass that's really open is this long skip pass to Justin Pippen over in the corner. So this is a excellent position for Justin. He has to get into the passer's vision and make that cut right there in the middle of the lane and present himself, because this is a good screen. You got a 6'9" guy in Kaufman Wren who's putting pressure on the ball, and it's hard for Vlad to make that pass if this baseline double is executed properly. So run the clip and let's see what happens. All right, pressure. He turns it over again. On the baseline double. All right, Purdue ball going the other way. All right, we're going to run this clip. So they're in their action. They get the ball to Vlad now in a better position, right? One step off the block. Perfect. Get it to him, but now you can see that Fletcher Lawyer is coming over to double from the baseline side. So what does that leave open? That deep corner pass, but it's a very tough pass to get to when you got great ball pressure, and that guy on the ball and Kaufman Wren is is getting in that passer's vision and not allowing him to see that pass. So now you guys got to present yourself. The best thing we can do right now is for Danny Wolf to pull in front of the ball, give him an outlet. Roddy Gale has to clock in front of the ball on the wing and give him an outlet to pass that ball. And we don't do that here, and it results in another turnover. And what the big guy can do on this, if you're Vlad, you can escape dribble, try to give yourself a better angle to be able to see all of those passes on the other end. But if you haven't seen this type of double all year and it comes, sometimes that double game is tough to deal with.
Hey, you can prepare for it all week, and it's still gonna be.
It's gonna be tough to deal with.
It'll be tough
right?
to deal with. Like you said, Danny has to rotate. Roddy has to rotate. All these guys got to rotate and make themselves available. And somebody has to dive. But you also have Braden Smith over here lurking like Troy Polamalu again.
Yeah, he's lurking. He's lurking. He's feeling it now. He didn't got a couple steals for touchdowns and layups on the other end. So now he's lurking. He's feeling it. And these guys executed this perfectly, and we didn't execute it great. So let it run.
Like that's a complete lack of respect for what Trail hit, but that's a complete lack of respect for the out. I don't say lack of respect, but they're not afraid for you to catch that ball and take a contested three, right? He has his back turned to both of those. He doesn't even see, right? So you can
and that's the pass you give up in that deep corner because that is what this post double does, right? It's hard to make that. If you're gonna try to make that skip pass over Kaufman-Wren's hand. And the backboard and the rim is there, so it's hard to get that lobbing pass over there. So that's the pass you give up, and he's reading the passer's eyes perfectly on this one.
Yeah, I think Roddy's shooting 27%, 20-something% from three on the year or something like that. So he's not, like you said, he's feeling it right now. He's trying to get him another steal, and he got it. He baited Vlad into that pass out the base double. So now we're going to get into the Braden Smith show, right? Not only do you get off to a poor start as far as the turnovers, not handling the base double well, right, through the two clips we just showed, but you also let their best player get going, right? And like you said, you give him a couple easy pick sixes to start the game. Any good player, you start the game with a layup, easy layup, 2 free throws. Like the basket becomes really big now, right? Not also do you give him a couple easy baskets, but we talked about on the last show, the preview show for this game, that they were going to have to do a better job in the pick and roll actions or the, where he hits the big and chase it into the handoff, right?
Pick and roll and chase. And that drop coverage was a big thing. And as you can see on this possession, this is kind of out of the transition, the flow. Vlad is 10 feet away from protecting from anything or impacting that ball, and these guys take advantage of that.
Yeah. Not strong, not particularly strong on the ball, getting over the top, right? I think maybe he could have went under. I don't know if they have the choice to go under, but as you can see right here, I paused it probably at the perfect moment, right? That's a lot of space for a good guard, right? He's coming off. We talked about him keeping guys in jail. He puts Namari in jail right here, but Namari has to kind of relax so he doesn't foul him. We're going to call that the Chris Hunter ball fake because you pointed this out very astutely last episode that this is not just like him playing random. This is part of his package, his repertoire. He does this a lot, right?
Yeah, that's part of his package. The high over-the-head ball fake, Namari trips, fall down on the shooting, and then you get another easy bucket. That's the second bucket right there of the game. So you get a pick six for a layup, and then you get an easy just 5-foot layup that you get, and now he's feeling good.
Now he's feeling good, right? His Taylor Wren chases it, creates a lot of space with this action right here. Now he gets the ball going down here. I know as a basketball coach, especially as a guy that coaches guards, anytime you can get a really good guard like this going downhill, man, first of all, it's great action by Purdue, but to get him going downhill, he's going to be tough to stop. Then if he's going downhill without any resistance, right? Like once again, Vlad is he's going to drop into no man's land. And Jones actually does a good job fighting to get back in and challenging the shot. But after you giving the guy a layup, 2 easy layups, a steal, and always to get him going, he makes these type of shots. And so he keeps curling it, one dribble.
And that's
a good contest.
That's a good contest. That's a tough shot. Braden Smith is a Big Ten Player of the Year candidate, and he can make those shots. He can make you pay off for that. But like you said, you feeling good, so that shot's gonna fall for you.
Yeah, he's already got it going. It's too late now, right? Big time shot by him. That's a pro shot. All right. Next clip. That's not even, they didn't really run any offense. He saw he had a mismatch based on switching across, based on the switch. I'm not sure why they switched this either, right? Like that's just switching. That's just switching the switch right there.
That's just switching the switch, and that's what the switching gets you into trouble with, right? So that's Michigan's game plan most of the year, to switch a lot of those guard to guard screen, forward to forward screens. But then sometimes you get in those disadvantaged matchups where you got Walters on Braden Smith out on the floor, and unfortunately, Braden Smith is probably going to win that 8 to 9 times out of 10 out there on the floor in space.
And I'm a challenge young fella right here too, right? That's Pippen, right?
Yes.
I'm a challenge young fella right here. Hey man, get your big, you know what, out the way. Like take pride and take the challenge, right? When you do this, and you like, oh, okay, you take it. No, hey man, you're backing away from the challenge of guarding the best player on the floor. Like there's no reason for you to, unless it's just rule that we have to switch this. Even still, basketball situation. Hey man, back up. I don't need you to. We don't need to switch. I don't need no help. Right? Stay on the ball. You're the better defender in that situation. Stay on the best player on the floor. You don't. You allow this cross match right here. This is just a right hand blow. He didn't make a move. He just put the ball down hard right. Excuse me. Layup.
Blow by. Can't give up blow bys.
No, here again, another cross match in transition. I think Braden got the rebound on this one, if I'm not mistaken. I think he might have saved the ball. Inbound the other baseline, got the ball back, outlet in transition, and now he doesn't really make a move. A little hezzy, right by. Like on the road, you have to compete, man. You have to compete. So I think in those situations, you got to give a little better effort, move your feet. I know Danny wants to give the guy space, but you let him eat up that space and then eventually blow by you. So those are kind of some of the tough situations we put ourselves in. I think that we didn't compete well enough, and we weren't, up to the challenge in those moments. That kind of, especially early in the game, it kind of led to it getting out of hand really quick.
And now we will get into just again the kind of what we previewed is Kaufman-Renn being able to take advantage of, not only being a pick and roll diver and being proficient in that area, but also if you let him get in the post and get to his left shoulder, he's trouble. Like he's don't have as much lift as you would like to see from a big fella, but if you let him get to that left shoulder and shooting his right hand hook, he's really good in that area. So let this clip roll.
Yeah. So right here, the into a zoom action, right?
And Brad and all of these guys on this, you need to be a little bit more up to the level of that ball handler. So if Trey Kaufman-Renn has the ball, I don't know why you're so far back, right? You need to be closer to him so you can affect this play and whatever happens. So even if you're in a drop coverage, that's too deep of a drop.
Yeah.
Fletcher Lawyer comes off clean. Roddy Gale gets cracked on the first initial screen, so he's late to the play. And now you get a decent late contest. And now Roddy Gale, you're switched on to Trey Kaufman-Renn, one of their best rebounders, offensive rebounders. And now you got to do a better job of just fighting right here. All right. You halfway get a body, turn your body on him. Now he's getting a offensive rebound to a layup. That can't happen. You got to have a better fight on that box out position right there.
Yep.
All right.
Into another, this is basically a away screen action, right? They're screening away for Lawyer to try to get a little action at the top of the key, maybe a shot. Once again, Vlad is not sure what coverage he's in, right? I'm not sure if you. I've never seen anyone play drop coverage on a away screen or a pin down, right? So he comes off, and maybe he's anticipating the ball screen, right? After the catch. Into a post up.
And this is where you got a scouting report. Hold it right here. So you got to know that what Trey Kaufman-Renn wants to do is get to his left shoulder. And on this side of the floor, that's to the middle of the paint. So if you're Vlad, if you could take it back a couple frames here, you got to have a better foot position on defense, right? So the foot position he has right now is pretty solid. Toes to the sideline in between him and the basket. But as Trey Kaufman-Renn is going to the middle of the floor, you can't drop your top foot and allow him to get to the middle of the paint, and this is going to be murder. So you got to keep him away from getting to the. Yeah, he drops it. He takes those bumps, and now he drops his foot. Now he's got you. All right, now I can get to the middle of the paint. I can get to my left shoulder in that hook, and he's really good with that.
Same thing, little side ball screen action right here.
And we cut the clip a little short on this one, but Purdue does a great job of screening.
Yeah.
And that's Miles Colvin, who right there is screening Vlad to make him late to this action. So he's super late to be able to get into any type of ball screen coverage. And this is where Braden Smith is good, man. He's coming off in the pocket. He's going to show that high ball fake again, a little subtly, drop it off to Trey Kaufman-Renn. And now he does a good job of keeping his feet, pivoting, getting back to the middle of the floor, to the middle of the paint where he's proficient, to that left shoulder, right? So you got to keep him away from that left shoulder. He gets back to it. Got to keep him away from that left shoulder. He gets back to it. And he's murdered right there in the middle of the paint.
Let me ask you a question. How hard is it to keep a guy out the middle? So you got him squared up right here. He has to kind of eat up that space before the offensive player does, right?
Yeah, you got to meet force with force. So you can't be the guy who's, the nail and not the hammer. You got to meet force with force. And then you see how his foot position continues to drop and open up to the middle. You got to keep those toes to the sideline to disinfluence that guy from coming middle and make him counter back baseline to his right shoulder, which, force him to shoot that same shot with the left hand. And I like our percentages on that.
Yeah. I think that's it for the film study for this day. So let me ask you a question, Chris. Because we played on some decent teams, and you were on staff with those really good John Beilein teams that took care of the ball. Are turnovers something that you can practice and get better at, or is it a mindset thing, or is it hey man, we need to still spend 5-10 minutes a day working on fundamentals, or is it a combination? What do you think? What do you think the remedy is for this turnovers, if there's one?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of all of that, right? Like, you have to practice it, you have to drill it, you have to hold people accountable to it every day in practice, and all of the above is what you're talking about. With Coach Beilein, it was like a clinic every practice, right? So you think about when you go to some of these summer camps and some of these things that you go to, and you do these simple passing drills with landing on 2 feet and pivoting and catching the ball and creating passing leads and passing angles to people. We used to do that every day in practice, and he will hold you accountable for that. Even do our walkthroughs and shoot around, all of that stuff would be in it. So it's about what you emphasize and what you hold people accountable to. And then for the players, they have to take accountability and say, hey, we have to be strong. Some of these turnovers that you saw in this game were just not being ready to play fully, right? Mm-hmm. The environment got to you. You weren't ready to play with the intensity that you needed to. So you got to take that onus on yourself to say, hey, I'm coming into this and I'm taking care of the ball. I'm not going to throw 50-50 passes in the air, lob it up, and hope that it gets to somebody. I got to secure the pass. I got to secure the ball. And that's something you can work on. So it's one of those things where being in programs where I know it's like a clinic every day and you're working on those fundamentals. And John Beilein teams were definitely, some of the best teams at taking care of the ball. It's something that he emphasized. It's something that we worked on every day. And if you turned the ball over in practice, you would take trips up to the top of Chrysler. All right, you turn it over, go ahead, take a trip. Go over there until you see that number up there, section 327, up there in the rafters. Go ahead, go and touch that and think about that play. So it's definitely ways to remedy this. It's accountability and it's measures to do it. Mm-hmm. And hopefully Michigan is doing that and continuing to do that. But, these guys got to take the onus on themselves, as much as you work on it during the game. Mm-hmm. Once the lights start getting bright and you come into the arena and the popcorn is popping and you smell that smell, you got to be able to execute under those parameters. And we got to do a better job of that. And this has been a bugaboo for us all year. is these turnovers. And when they happen consecutively at the beginning of the game in an environment like this, recipe for disaster, recipe to get your head stomped, head cracked against Purdue on the road.
If you're Dusty, do you consider making changes to the pace or the speed at which you play, given the sample size of results you have up to this point, or to try to take care of, or do you continue to do what you do and hopefully these guys either change or you get guys in here next year or down the line that you can take care of the ball better and play the way you want to play. So what I think my question to you is, where is it in conflict? Do you think it's in conflict with your philosophy as far as how fast you want to play, as far as how much you turn the ball over?
No, I don't think it's in conflict. I think that's what's going to make this team good. That's his identity. That's how they want to play. They want to play fast. They want to push the pace. But you can also do that and take care of the ball. Like some of the turnovers that you see is just careless turnovers, right?
It has nothing to do with the pace.
It has nothing to do with the pace. It has everything to do with you being careless with the ball. Like a coach will take some turnovers if you're trying to make the right play and we're pushing the pace and you're trying to make those right plays, and it's one of those plays of aggression, not one of those plays where you're just being careless with the ball. So we got to take care of the ball in those situations, and you don't want to take away the pace from a team because that's going to make what makes us a special team. Yeah. Because we can push the pace and have versatility, but we got to be better with it. And I think, for Michigan, as you look at this, the games that we've lost has been the other team's backcourt really, really playing well.
Yeah.
All right. So for Michigan, we have to find a way for our backcourt to match that intensity defensively and offensively. And we got to find a way to have a secondary perimeter shot creator. I think Trey Donaldson has been really, really good with that. And your de facto secondary guy has been Danny Wolf, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to find another person on this roster who can be able to create shots and handle pressure efficiently from the perimeter that's not named Trey Donaldson or Danny Wolf.
Even those guys have to be better.
And they have to be better. Right?
Trey,
they have to be better.
Trey, you're the first, it starts with you on both ends, right? Old adage in basketball, you initiate the offense or you initiate the defense. So everything starts with you. I don't know if they watch or if they're ever going to see this, but I want to challenge him, right? I've seen you get going when you make a few shots and that Florida boy come out of you and you start talking and you get your little let's go little motion you do every time you hit a couple shots. I need to see that from the tip off. Like if that's who you are, be that guy when it's 0-0, be that guy when it's 13-2. Somebody has to grab these guys around the neck, around the collar, like, hey man, let's go. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's hard to do that when you're the guy turning the ball over as well. So those guys have to be better. And I'm speaking for experience because I know a good part of my career, I was a high turnover guy, 2-3 turnovers a game myself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I get it, right? You want to make plays, you want to push the pace, you want to, lead, but you have to do that all the time. I think the more he does that, the better he'll be, right? Somebody in this game, desperately needed somebody to take leadership, especially after that first, that initial 13-2 burst.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, somebody has to step up. It's not just about making 1-3 or making one play. It's about stringing together consecutive possessions to get us back in this game. So,
yeah, and that's offensively and defensively. Like you say, consecutive possessions, offensive. Can I set the tone how I'm playing offensive, being strong with the ball and securing the ball? And can I play defense at a rate that's going to make Purdue uncomfortable? They were super comfortable all night in everything that they did, and we got punched in the mouth and was on our heels from the opening possession.
Yeah, and I know it may sound crazy, right? It may sound real old school, but if I'm Trey and the kid gets it going like that, I'm not going to flagrant foul him at the end of the day, but I might foul him hard one time, like just to get him focused on me more than he is the other stuff. Like I might hack you hard one time and exchange words like you have to compete at the highest level in this conference. You may look at a guy. I remember Iowa had Jeff Horner and Adam Haluska and those guys, and we would look at them like, or certain people would look at them like these guys are whatever, they can't play.
No, they can go
out there and tear your head off if you don't compete, right? And that's this conference has always been that way, whether it's the Iowas or the IUs or just speaking strictly from a Michigan perspective, right? From those teams, like you go into these environments on a Wednesday night or a Friday night, Purdue on a Friday night, man, like you got to have some dogs going in there that know like this is going to be a dog fight. This is not going to be pretty. It's not going to be a whole lot of threes back and forth. I think Purdue made 6. I don't know how many we made. But
I think we made 6-2, but it was the oh by the way threes when the game was already out of the hand. You know,
I can't remember how many Purdue made, but they didn't make a ton of threes either, right? Not in the initial stages when the game got out of hand. It was a fight.
Yeah.
And you have to be ready for that. I think they've learned that. I think hopefully they'll learn that lesson. They got at Minnesota was a high intensity game. Came back to Northwestern was another one. These last 3 games have been a bit different. Not as far as the results, but as far as the level of intensity, even from the Wisconsin game earlier in conference play. So I think these guys, man, they'll learn some valuable lessons from this last week and a half, and hopefully push forward.
This is the Big Ten, baby. You know, every night is a different challenge. Every night is a big game, and
especially when you Michigan.
When you Michigan, it's gonna every night's gonna be a big game, and these guys, I'm sure today is going to have a nice film session. I'm sure Coach won't move on too quickly to prepare for Penn State coming up. They're gonna have to see and feel these clips in the film session today, because this is one of those games where if you're a coach, and I've been on these plane rides home, you know, you watching, and if you're a player on the back of the plane, you hear coaches up on the front of the plane cussing, watching the film like, dang. You walk by the coaches on the plane with your head down a little bit because you see them watching the film, and you see yourself on there turning the ball over. So they're gonna have to feel this one. I'm sure that film session is going to be one of those where they're going to feel it, they're going to understand it, and it has to be a change. Like, this has been a bugaboo for Michigan. Okay, so if we're trying to reach the heights that we want to reach, this turnover bug is going to have to be remedied in one or two ways, all right? They're going to have to get better individually, or these guys are going to have to be put in positions where, all right, well, maybe you're not handling the ball in this situation, right? Maybe we have to limit what you do, or like you say, play a little slower, control these possessions, but they're going to feel this film session, and I know they're going to be ready for their upcoming game, but you're going to have to feel it. This one stings. This one hurts. And like I said at the beginning of the game, wow. That one escalated very quickly, and we're going to have to remedy that, man. So another big game. This is a great podcast. Another big game coming up, as they all are in the Big Ten. So I am Chris Hunter. Thanks to my man Daniel Horton for the beautiful breakdown today. Until next time, we'll see you, man. Again, if you like it, subscribe, follow us, comment. Yes, we're gonna keep bringing you this great content here, man. So until next time on the Big Game Podcast, peace.